wasted.
I know this show is supposed to happen on a Wednesday, but I got drunk and couldn't make the gig. So I packed up my headphones and I headed out the door. And here we are today. Time to get this show started. The whiskey's pouring, grab yourself a beer. Everything's ready, the director is here. Time to get loose, join the entourage. Let's all get drunk at the director's garage. Let's get drunk at the director's garage. Let's get drunk at the director's garage. It don't matter wherever you are. All get drunk at the director's garage.
Yeah, come on, guys. Let's all get drunk. Why not? Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Thursday Happy Hour Hangout here at the Director's Garage. I'm your host, Resident Idiot Michael. I'm still on the A-trim because I haven't changed headphones. So much happened like 2 seconds before we go on the air. All of a sudden, all the proverbial shit hits the fan. I got phone calls, I got texts from 3 different people. It's amazing. It's amazing. Well, how y'all doing? We're post CanJam. I have a bunch of photos to share with you from CanJam. If you missed my postings on HeadFi, I'll redo them now. And I got my booklet. Look at my official CanJam booklet here. Couple other items. Neil sent us his rig. We're going to take a look at Neil's rig in just a little bit. His new TV listening rig, which is kind of like the baby adjunct to the full listening system. So that'll be kind of fun. This week has been, I'm prepping for this thing. A lot of things to talk about here. CanJam, I was originally going to do interviews and kind of talk about different, you know, like have people give me like, pardon me, about to die. Cheers, everyone. Ooh, I had a payday candy bar before I got on the air. I must have had a piece of errant peanut in my mouth. Crazy. But I was gonna do a full CanJam episode, and then I thought about maybe doing some live hits from CanJam. And to do that, I was gonna use my camera. I was going to use this camera, and I was going to put a mic on it. I have this mic, and it kind of slides in here, and then there's a wire that goes. This mic would not work. And I took it home, and I thought I had it fixed, and then I thought maybe I can power it with a battery and something. It just never worked. So I've replaced this, but I actually did some surgery on this week. And it turns out that the battery inside of it, it's a rechargeable lithium ion. So I bought a bunch of them. I bought a whole bunch of these guys, and they look like AAA cells, but they're rechargeable and they're lithium. I don't have the overhead camera on because it's right here. This is it. And so I did surgery, and I thought maybe I can take this thing apart, replace the battery, and it turned into a much bigger engineering feat than I had expected. This thing is put together not to take apart. It's not built by people who want you going in here and messing with stuff. So essentially this thing is designed to either be sent back to Deity, which is a Deity microphone. It's called a VMic D3 Pro. And it's got a battery in it, and it charges through a USB port. And it just wasn't holding the charge, and I'm like, and it would work if I plugged up a battery into it, but then it would also die then too. So something was really off. So I took it all apart, And it turned out that they had spot welded the battery in. Now this is what you do if you're making a battery pack. It's not, usually they have some kind of just simple pop it out mechanism, and they did not design it that way. They designed it to be permanent. So I had to go in there and pry with a utility knife, this guy here. I had to pry the welds off of the end of the battery, and then you score the battery, and then I had to solder, because I don't have any spot weld. I don't have a spot welder here. Soldering gets a little dodgy. You don't want to solder a lithium battery typically, because if you get it too hot, they like to go boom. And they like to burn up. So I wound up getting a good solder on it, and I put it back together, and check this out. I've actually revived this thing. Let's see if I can make it worked 20 seconds ago. Don't do this. There it is. So you can see there's the little yellow dot. That means that it's on. So I fixed it, and it's working. However, I was nervous that I wasn't going to be able to fix it, and I've got some stuff coming up where I may need a mic. So I bought, for $50, and this thing's getting some rave reviews, so I bought this tiny, it's another Deity, which I probably should have gone with another model, because if their one wasn't made to service, I probably shouldn't have gotten a second one. This one is battery free though, and it just goes in like that, and it's even got a little muzzle fuzzball on it to keep the wind noise down. They call these cattails. But this'll do the same job. So I bought this as a backup, and it's only $50, and there's no battery in this. It's just a condenser mic. So anyway, tech talks. But I did a whole bunch of disassembly and like soldering, and I looked like a science experiment. I've done so much experimentation around here lately with all these different episodes. So we released a Tungsten video earlier this week. Ryan sent me over the Tungsten V2 as an exclusive. I have no idea if it was exclusive. Ryan, was that exclusive? I don't know of anybody else who had it, so I called it exclusive because it was kind of fun to do, and it made a nice audio effect. It was kind of fun. But we did that one. Released Tuesday. If you missed that episode, it's somewhere around here, and checked them out, and I thought they were really nice. I thought he did a great job of getting very close, if not exact, to the sound of the V1 Tungsten, but it's now in a form factor that he can churn these things out a little faster. He's not waiting on parts as much, and that's key because for his business model going forward. The V2 is going to change everybody's world with their relationship with the Tungsten. They'll be able to get them sooner, that's the way to go. And I was really impressed with it. I thought that he actually increased the detail. He got a little better shape on the top end over the treble end of it. And the only thing I noted was that the bottom end wasn't as loose. But I also had this theory, and I put it in the video. And see what you think. And tell me what you think in the comments. But I had this theory that when you get something, when you buy a planer especially, that membrane is under extreme tension. These things are tensioned very tight. And the reason they take so much power is that you're trying to flex this very rigid membrane. And you need it takes a lot of power to get that thing moving. So it's so tight when you get it. And I think just like anything, if you have something that's stretched tight, the more you play with it, the more it plays and the more it moves around, the looser it's going to get. I mean, it's going to develop some self-elasticity. And I had a bunch of comments about it. One comment was, and from the chat was, that's why I burn them in. And I'm like, well, I don't have the option to burn in here. I mean, I wanted to turn this around fast because Ryan's trying to get this out to a customer, and he was kind enough to send it to me. So I'm going to have to go with it as is, and we're going to have to listen to it and make a video. Or just don't do it at all, but I think there was a lot there that was worth exploring. And it was a fun video. I thought it came out nice. So I don't get the option to always play it in. But then I had another comment that was, somebody was really upset saying he put out a V2 before the V1s are even caught up, and how dare he, and that's, you know, like that kind of thing. And I responded back to him because I said, well, the V2 is intended, he's putting it out there so that he can get these things out faster to you guys. So there's not this wait, so that he can close that gap down. That's the reason for doing the V2. And you're yelling, and you know, you're upset because he's putting a V2 out. I'm like, this is going to solve a lot of the problems. He also, by the way, anybody who is in line for a V1 and wants the V2, he's offering a free upgrade too. So it's like, there's no shenanigans going. In fact, if anything, he's bending over backwards and he's trying to make the experience better in buying a tungsten. So I'm like, I didn't understand that comment, and I did comment back on it, but I was like, you know, understand, like, it does nobody any good to upset you. Like, everybody's at home like, they're just doing this to upset me and piss me off, and you know, the whatever the manufacturer is. And I'm like, do you understand that nobody really wants to upset you? It doesn't do a manufacturer or me any good to make you mad. I don't want to make you mad. And I understand if you don't like what I say, but, you know, there are 1,000 other people doing this on YouTube. In fact, there are probably 1 million other people doing this on YouTube. And if you don't like YouTube, go to TikTok. You know, you'll get the same thing in about 30 seconds. My full video in 30 seconds. But so it was, I just wanted to step up and defend that criticism, because I didn't think it was fair. And look, there are times when people write stuff that is fair, and it's a criticism, and I don't agree with it, but it's fair. It's set in a reasonable, like, it's coming from a reasonable position. And I totally defend anybody who, like, hey, I really had a problem with this, or if they had a bad customer service experience. It's fair to talk about that. You know, like, hey, I sent this into HiFiman and it didn't get back to me for 8 weeks, or I didn't feel like and then it wasn't working, or whatever. You know, I understand that, and I'm using that as a hypothetical. I'm not saying that actually happened. I don't know. But I think that, you know, when you make something that's not founded, or at least, like, doesn't follow logic, like, you know, coming out with this new version, which is, and it's going to help get them to you faster. I mean, he's addressing the biggest criticism of ModHouse, which is it's taking too long to get the product. So now he's making this move to make the product quicker to get. That's fantastic, man. He's addressing the biggest issue that he's had. So I'm like, I'm just going to stand up and defend it. It just doesn't make sense to me. So that's kind of like what else is on my mind here. I've got some photos from Neil. I got some photos from CanJam. We can take a look at some of those. I kind of went hog wild with the photography because my camera thing with the microphone lacking, I couldn't shoot much video, which is a shame. And then we'll get to your feedback, your chat in just a second. But why don't we take a little walk through CanJam real quick here? Because I'll show off what I just took some photos, and they're kind of eye candy stuff. I didn't do a ton of listening, but I did do some. So let's take a look at some of these photos. This first one is this is the WA33, and this is a version 2 of this now. And this has got all the elite caps and all the stuff in it, so it's probably a good $19,000 amp here. But it's designed, what Jack did for this version is he integrated a step-down transformer for ribbons. So if you had a ribbon headphone, and this was in the raw room where I was kind of home-based. So I took a lot of photos in the raw room because I was there, and I was kind of stuck there for a few hours here and there. But this is the WA33. I just think this is really pretty, and this sounded great. It was very neutral to me. I didn't hear a lot of I didn't hear a lot of color coming from this amp, which it didn't seem overly warm or overly cold. It just seemed like it was pretty much a blank canvas, and kind of the headphones and your other gear and the signal would make more of an impact. Let's see, where's my next photo? This one. This is called an Alnick. And this is an amp that Kenny, who you can kind of see his beard there in the background, McKinney, was selling for his RAL headphones. And it's, again, all of these had the inverted 4-pin, so you could do the you could do a ribbon headphone right off of this. These were really pretty, though. I was very impressed with this. These were a little more colored. He says that most people prefer this Elite, but the Alnick is right behind it, and it's got a little more flavor to it. Maybe a little on the warmer side. It has a little more texture to it. This is a Rockna Wave Dream. I thought this was really cool and chiseled. This was in a loop of what I was listening to, but it was also included, I'll show you the photos of that coming up, but I was listening to some of the Spirit Torino headphones, and everything was so, I couldn't give you an assessment of any of this stuff because what's on the screen now, because everything was new in the system and I hadn't heard any of it before, but it sounded nice. It was pretty interesting. This is the Kronos from Noble, and what they did was they sort of crossed the characteristics of the Viking Ragnar with the Sultan. So it does have extremely deep and beautiful bass extension. Little on the bright side for my tastes, but I did enjoy them, and they are beautiful. They are beautiful. I still think the Sultan, to my way of thinking, the Sultan is my ultimate IEM. It's like, it's got a softer upper end slope, and it's got bass for days. And so I still love the Sultan, I think, for my personal flavor, but this had a bunch of that detail that the Ragnar did, but it was less hyper detailed than the Ragnar, and it definitely had more going on down low, because the Ragnar is a little bit on the leaner side on the bass. This is my favorite Noble I heard of the day. I said, because I went to the Noble table. I gotta say hi to all those guys. I like them so much, and I appreciate what they do. This is my favorite listen of the day from Noble. This was the Rex 5. Their new true wireless IEM. I thought this was great. This is a great upgrade for those of us who have been longtime Mystique owners. This would be a good upgrade, and I would do that in a second if I had the cash. I don't. And then this is, I can't remember the name of this one now. Oh, it's the Amadeus. This is called the Amadeus. It's a mid-level. It's a sort of a mid-level true wireless. It's about $350. The other one, this one's like $450. These are like $4,500. These are like uber expensive. These are, but these are just $550 and or $450, and I think they're worth it. I think that they're like the next. If I had $450 to spend, that would be one of the purchases I'd consider. The Amadeus, I did not listen to these, and they may get me a pair of these, so I didn't want to listen to them. He said he might send some over to review, so we'll see if that happens. I don't know if it will or not. They're, Noble, like, they get busy and they got stuff going on. So, this is the black version of the Rex 5. This is their new thing for CanJam. They dropped this along with the Kronos, the wired Kronos. It's just another version of the Rex 5. It's not Emerald. I like the Emerald myself. I think this is cooler. There's something about this that just resonates with me a little more, but I did like that. This is another Alnick amp. You can see the raw headphone next to it. This is the DAC. This is a tube DAC. This thing sounded amazing. And I think it's priced over 20 grand. I mean, it's like major, serious, like, holy crap, is that expensive kind of stuff. And there was a lot of that because I tend to go for those things. But I thought this was, I think it's a work of art visually. I mean, it's just stunning. It's got those HE1 vibes, but without the marble, without the Corinthian marble or whatever the hell it is. Audma, this was about a $13,000 amp processor called the HPA1 Maestro. And what this reminded me, in function, wasn't. I'll say this. I don't think it was my favorite thing I heard all day. I thought it was nice sounding, but it reminded me of that SPL. Remember that SPL Phonitor X that I had like 3 years ago, maybe. And it does like a lot of sound processing and stuff. That's kind of what this thing does, but it does it on a much higher level. The Phonitor was a little bit noisier. But I thought it was cool, and it was worth listening to, and that was another piece in that chain with the Spiritorino. I did get to hear the HE-1000 unveiled. I love the stage on these things. I love the image on these things. Still a touch on the bright side for my flavor. I would like to see them tamed a little bit on the upper end, on that upper mid area. But I think that for sound, like if you're looking at detail and like all the different things that you want in a headphone, for about $1,200, this is probably the sweet spot for what you would do. If you're not going to go with another sound altogether, that would be my note, is that I think that it's like one of the best all-rounders, and for the price, it's like, Jesus, guys. It's kind of a no-brainer. This is a Sysfar Unveiled. I listened to that a bunch today over the weekend. I heard it in two or three different rooms. They were everywhere. These things were everywhere, and just I still don't trust myself around them. That's dangerous. This is the Spiritorino Pulsar, a $6,000, and it's a dynamic driver headphone. Very pricey stuff, undeniably very pricey stuff, very well built. Not thrilled with the headphone attached. I didn't take a good picture of it. I should have tilted up. It's a little flimsy on the structure part of it. The cups and all of that are crazy impressive, but the band and all of that, like, it's not anywhere near this robust that you get from like a ZMF. It felt a little more on the sort of less polished end of things for me. The one thing that I would note about these Torinos is that, I swear to God, they stick out like Princess Leia buns. They're really wide. they extend wider than even the 1266. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. This to me was not a good pair for me. I did not like them. But I did like I thought I was going to have it all timed out so that I could go to the Valkyrie next, which is the Spiritorino. We'll see those in a few, but the Valkyrie was the one that really impressed me. But this is the Pulsar, and it's $6,000, and these did not impress me. I will be honest with you. Head amp, CFA3. This is Ken from Ken's workshop. He built his own version of this, and he brought it over here to here. This is a wonderful amp. This is a great sounding amp. I think it's beautiful in the way they laid this out. I think it's stunning looking. It sounded good. It's got the same feedback loop that you can engage for error correction or disengage. Depending on what you're listening to, it'll give you a little different flavor. Worked like a charm, kind of gives you a little gritty edge, and then not so much a gritty edge, like a more cleaner approach, depending on what you want to hear. And I really thought this amp was wonderful. It seemed powerful enough. I had it on, I think it was on the Unveiled. I think this was one of the Unveiled listens, and it had plenty of power for it. But the Unveiled is probably easier to drive than the veiled version of the Sysfar, the OG. So maybe that wasn't the best, for pure power. I don't know what this thing puts out. I didn't look at the specs on it. I was just kind of looking at it from I can't even look at this thing. You can't, this is an OG. They did have the OG Sysfar on it, and it drove this just fine. The photo just reminded me, I guess I did listen to that with the Sysfar, because the Sysfar is in the photo. Go figure. All right. The thing that it struck me was the design, the industrial design. This is another thing from Justin Wilson and his team, and I like the way they design amps. I just think they're pretty. I think they always do things with chunky. Oh, and the other thing I was going to say is the feedback loop. It's the same feedback loop that I saw in the Zale HM1 that I loved. Kind of gave you a little extra spice with it. So they're including that in this design. But all the knobs are heavy, feel high quality. The shape of this thing has got a little bit of an imposing, monolithic black thing going on. Like, yeah, I was down with it, and I really like the fins on it. I think that the cooling fins The way they're played, I just think everything about that is nice. Now this is the Spirit Torino Valkyrie. This is their, I think this is $12,000. And there's a part of me that does say, to be honest, there's a part of me that says it's $12,000 for a dynamic driver headphone. Seems a little steep to me. However, I will say this: they sounded great. They sounded great. I don't know if they're $13,000 great. I'd have to do some shootouts with them. But I thought they were good. I thought these things were good. They really did sound wonderful. They had great bass extension, tremendous bass extension. They had pretty good detail, and like, you know, they kind of check the boxes. And for a show environment, which, you know, it's noisy, it doesn't sound great. You know, nothing's going to be perfect in a show environment like that. Oh, citizens chiming in. What did we just learn, folks? Oh, come on, tell me. I guess we'll never know. Phone's being jackass to me. So there's a part of me that says, gosh, these things are awfully expensive for what they are. But I would also say they did sound great. I couldn't pick them apart. But I would say, like, physically on your head, I'm serious, guys. They're like, these things stick way out. They ought to have good soundstage. A lot of fun. This is Zach's new, the homage to his first modding days. This is called, oh man, drive me crazy. Can I remember this one? It's brand new. ZMF headphones. I'm going to find it. Product info. Ori. This is the Ori 3.0. So, and Ori stands for the origin. It's an origin piece. And this thing is gorgeous. I mean, like all of his headphones, it's another just gorgeous work of art from Zach. I did not hear these, and the reason I did not want to, and I didn't want to hear them, because I know these are coming to me. I know he's planning on sending me a set, and so that I don't want to. Sometimes it's like, well, I'll just take a listen, a quick listen, see what we're up against. I didn't want to do that for this one. I thought that it would kind of spoil the process that I like to do. I'll take the light off me. When I do the unboxing videos, so I like to listen to it cold. I like to get that first impression on camera, and I didn't want to spoil it. So, and it's not like an earth-shattering. This is not a crazy expensive headphone. This is sort of back to his roots, and I'm going to look up the price real quick just so I can see. Yeah, these are $2,000. So these aren't like crazy. These aren't banana expensive headphones. They're just, and they're beautiful. So I'm reserving. I want to hear these myself on camera in person when we do the review. So that's a little director's garage, like a teaser for our upcoming episode. I don't know when it's going to get here. It hasn't shipped yet, but he does want me, and he's changing his shipping department around. He had some personnel changes or something, so stuff is coming to reviewers slower. He said right now they're just trying to get their feet under them with the new staff. But this is. This looks beautiful, and I can't wait to hear it. So, Austrian audio. This to me was the biggest surprise of the day. I actually, this one really wasn't the best sounding thing I heard all day, but this is the biggest surprise. So I'm just walking down the main, you know, one of the main aisles, and I came to this, and I see this like Austrian audio. It's off to the side, and I'm like, I've heard of this before, and I've heard of this brand before. I heard of them last year, but I didn't take the time to listen to it, and I kind of wanted to hear them last year, but it was just one of those, I just didn't have time. I just ran out of time, and I'm like, whatever, I'll just get them some other time, or, you know, maybe I'll find somebody who's a distributor and they'll send me a pair or whatever. But so I sat down at the Austrian audio table, and the headphones themselves, there's a little bit of a little thing about them that's kind of like a little bit on the flimsier side, but the quality of the cups themselves is gorgeous. A little in common with the Spirit Torino, but the Torino like is mega. You know, those titanium cups were really heavy. That was the one thing. Like, that titanium cup is heavier than the LCD-4. the Valkyrie. These were super light. These were and this is the amp. I'm sorry, I'm showing you the amp first. I didn't go through and order these in any way. So this is the amp that came with it. Let's see if there's the headphone. Okay, so here's the headphone, and it's not the most complicated looking headphone in the world, but it's got a nice little yoke system on it. I thought that was kind of cool. Very comfortable though, very light, very lightweight, open back design. Interesting that they have plugs into the cups on the side. That's a little bit of an unusual flair, but it's one of those things where I'll allow it. They're doing something different, and that's kind of cool. That they're doing a different approach, taking a different approach again. Oh, apparently there's another earthquake out of Alaska. It's triggering a tsunami warning. 7.8 earthquake out of near Russia. So they got a tsunami warning in Alaska. That's what all the hubbub was about, all the notices. Anyway, not besides the point. We're talking about headphones here. Very much more important. So they had their headphone, and I'll show off some of the tube amps because I did listen to these on a couple of different amps. But they had this set up with just this amp, and this package altogether is about $3,000, maybe $3,300. It was 25. This headphone was like 25, so it's probably closer to $4 for the whole thing, and it's about $1,500 for the amp. I was impressed. I thought this was one of the biggest delights of the day. It has beautiful bass extension. It has wonderful. It has wonderful detail to this. And I think it's just a dynamic driver. I think it's just a dynamic driver headphone, but kind of if I was going to choose between this and the Torino Spirit, I would probably go for this. I think it's a better buy. But you can still, you can get a comparable sound. This would be like a total no-brainer if the whole package, amp and headphone, were about $1,000 less. If this thing could settle at, if you could be out the door for $3,000 with the headphone and the amp, that would be like the craziest no-brainer ever. Unfortunately, you're probably, you're a good $1,000 north of there, out the door. But I still think it's a great sounding headphone. This thing sounded amazing. And this reminded me of that one and done thing that I had last year when I sat down with the Boca and the ZMF Boca open back, and then he had it paired with the Homage amp. And I'm like, for a one and done system, you could get by with this and I'd be perfectly happy. I thought it was that good. These seriously impressed me. And then I started hearing the story about this, and it turns out that the designers here were former AKG engineers. AKG is now gone, I think, at the defunct, but they spun off. They formed their own company and called it Austrian Audio. These are like 4 or 5 guys from AKG. They put their best that they knew about all into a headphone, and this is what they came up with. I was very impressed with this. I sat down not expecting much, and then when you get that delight, it's beautiful top end on it, and it's extension, good bass extension, lots of thump, lots of fun. I'm like, this is a good experience. This probably was the most impressive. Not the best thing I heard, because I'll show you what's the best thing I heard coming up, but it was up there. It was really a great experience, and I'm very pleased that I found Austrian Audio. I'd love to get a pair of these here in here and do a review on in person in a quiet area. This is Amps and Sound. They wrote me back. I put up, I think that this was the Black Pearl, but it's not. It's a different. It's a different amp, and they corrected me, and so I had to change what I had done. Amplifiers. It was called, I can't remember now. It wasn't the Rockwell. I can't remember what it was called. Shoot. But anyway, this is an Amston Sound 300B tube amp, and there's 300Bs behind this, and it sounded nice. It was a very nice sounding headphone. I didn't have like the greatest pairing with it because it was with the ZMF Atrium, and the Atrium is such a great all-around headphone. Period. And it was in the middle of the show floor. Didn't really have a good flavor for what the amp sounded like, but it didn't sound. Nothing there caught me off guard and said, ooh, bad, not good. So I would love to hear this amp further in some different arrangements. It was more one of those I was walking by and I thought, that's an imposing looking amplifier. Like that is an impressive and imposing. This thing looks. It was like it was one of the larger amps of the day. This probably the photographs makes it look smaller than it actually is, because it really is impressive. I was blown away by like the presentation of this amp. It just looked formidable. I was like, okay, like I'll sit down and listen to you, bad boy, and I did, and I heard it at the Atrium. It sounded really nice. It was fun. Okay, so the next one is the best thing I heard of the whole weekend, and this is the new Wu Audio WA234. This is called second generation. They're calling this second generation, not version 2 or whatever. It's called second generation. These are monoblock towers that can be configured in a number of different amp setups, including 300B or like a bunch of different types of. They're single-ended. You can do push-pull. It'll do all kinds of tricks, because each of these. See up here. I'll see where my cursor is up here. Each of these are plugs that rewire the amp. So you pull these plugs out and you put in a different set of plugs, and it throws the power to a different circuit, and you can change out the tubes to a different setup, and it'll work. So this is kind of like a jack of all trades. When this came out initially about 10 years ago, these were $15,000 for the pair. For the monoblock pair, solid aluminum. These things weigh a ton, as you might expect. It's a Jack Wu design. It's going to be hefty. And this version 2, what do I call it? The revision. What do I call it? I just said what it was. It's not the version 2. It's the whatever. Number 2. It's the second varietal of this anyway. Second generation. Thank you. It's the second generation of this, and so this is going to be $24,000 for this new monoblock set. So they gained $9,000. These also have the circuit in it to play ribbons direct. And I heard this with the Susvara unveiled, and I'm telling you guys. It was. I've not heard a 300B tube produce bass like that this did. It was dynamite. It was fantastic. It was unbelievably black. You think of tube amps, you think, well, there's always going to be a little bit of something down low, like a little bit of basic noise playing all the time. Nothing. I couldn't hear a thing. I just thought it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And it was off to the side too, in a side room, so there wasn't a lot of commotion around me. I got a really good listen to this. Thought it was really impressive. Definitely the highlight, the best thing I heard was out of this, and it comes with this Wu DAC. This way, it doesn't come with it. You have to buy it separate. DAC's only like $1,200 though. I mean, like bargain basement, guys. Wu Audio DAC, it's like $1,200. I'm like, sign me up. It's probably worth it. But yeah, this is the DAC that they ship with it. But it's kind of cool because it does mimic the kind of tower construction of the, and it's off to the side. So I thought it was a nice combo. But it probably could improve the DAC, I'm guessing. But the amp was just killer. Now the one negative about this though is that these are dual monos. Man, I'm like, I don't know what's happening out front of our house right now. If there's just like a street party, or maybe there's a big street gang, but it's like each one of those dings was like a car driving by the front of our house, and we're like on a cul-de-sac. I'm like, this is bananas. Like, I don't know what's going on out there. Anyway, but each of these are volume knobs. So you have to dial in each ear. And if you're OCD at all, I'm not. I mean, I'd get it close and be like, that's good enough. If you're OCD at all, you're screwed. Because you're going to like, are they exactly matching? Is this side a little higher? Is this side a little higher? You know, that's going to drive you bananas. But I still thought it was the best thing I heard of the day. It's amazing. But yeah, you adjust each cup individually. Kind of crazy. This is the WA34. I think this is the 30th anniversary, 20th anniversary of. I've got to look it up because I'm going to screw it up. I don't want to screw it up. 30th anniversary of the WA24. WA24. This was paired with that Austrian audio headphone, and I don't think it was a good pair. I don't know what. I thought that the Austrian Audio's own amp sounded better than this $11,000 amp, to me, in my opinion. I was more enamored with the synergy between their own amp and their headphone than this. This is a beautiful amp, though. I mean, this is a gorgeous amp, and I mean, there's no bad angles on this thing, and I love that Jack exposes the RK50, the pot. I think that's great. Just fantastic. Maybe this is my CanJam episode. Maybe I'm not going to do a formal like. Yeah, this is a CanJam. Go watch the live stream. But I think this is great. It just wasn't. I didn't think it married well with that Austrian audio headphone. Went to the Warwick Acoustic booth again. Tried to get in. No, not happening. Missed it again. Bastards. I think I'm missing something here, but oh well. I think that's going to be it. That's our CanJam. That's my CanJam photos. That's what I had. Thought I had more, but apparently not. That's enough. That's plenty. It's plenty. It was a good recap. Okay. So I'm going to get to the chat now. We're going to go through some chat because you guys have been making comments and stuff. And then we'll go to Neil Snyder's new TV listening setup, which he sent me. I'm going to see if I can get that set up before we get too far on this. No viewer mic. I want to see Neil. I called his folder because he sends me so many photos. I'm like, Neil again is the name of this folder. All right, I'm going to open this with preview. And we're going to go full screen. Okay, so that's set up when we go to that. All right, let's get to the chat. See what everybody's doing. Greetings from Manila, everyone. Vegan Vicar, cheers, my brother. Glad you could make it. Came out a little earlier today, I know. Just a matter of timing and whatever, things that needed to get done. I've got some stuff to do when I get off. I've got to, the next 2 days, get off the air today. I got to tear this camera down and the lighting. Got to pull the camera and lighting out because we've got an open house tomorrow. Back up after the open house tomorrow because Saturday morning is our monthly Hangover Hangout video or live stream. If you're over on Patreon, $3 will get you in the door. And this week, the special guest is none other than John Massaria from JM Edition. So it's going to be, he always has spicy takes on stuff. He's got a big personality. I love John. So we're going to get him on, and he's going to mix it up with our normal guests. All you guys who come in, you can ask him questions. He'll probably have some stuff to show off. Hopefully, just check it out. It's going to be great. So that's going to be Saturday morning, 9:30 a.m. Pacific to noon. John will be with us. I'm going to be sending out those invites later today. If you go over to the Patreon page and take out a $3 subscription, I know I'm breaking your bank, guys. I'm really coming for your wallet. That will get you in the door for the weekend Hangover Hangout, and you get links to all of our past Hangover Hangouts, and there's been over a year and a half of them now, and they're all great videos. They're fun. So we've had some great guests over the years. Ray Samuels, and we've had HiFiman, and Ryan has been there, and Zach from ZMF has been on a number of them, and we've just had great guests. Janny McKinney from Rawl did a whole session with us. Probably going to get him back in the near future. In the wake, after I get my review out, it'll be kind of fun to have him come back and talk more about, because I'll have some more questions about what came up during my review of those ribbons, which are gone now. Oh. Boys, I got to get ribboned. I gotta get ribboned. Anyway, moving on in the chat. May all our hours be happy. Cheers, my brothers. Happy hour hangout. You like that? I hope you guys appreciate the theme when we're not on I made a special theme for us when we're not on a typical Wednesday. Because normally it's Hump Day Happy Hour Hangout, and like if we're on a Thursday, I always felt guilty kind of calling it Hump Day. So I created a special one. And it's a story about a guy who's too drunk on Wednesday, so he showed up today. It's time to do a live stream. I love that, kind of John Lee Hooker-esque. That was the goal. Anyone tried the shit Biggie deck? No, I have not. Ryan Dietz in the house. Thanks for doing the Tungsten review. Mike, thanks for sending them and allowing me to do that review. I thought you really did some great things with it, and I hope it streamlines everything enough to where you can now get these things out into people's hands faster, and you make more money doing it, and more happy people because they get their headphones sooner. It's an exclusive in so much as I think you were the first to release a video. Yes! It was exclusive! Ace of Spades. Cheers, my brother. JL Squad. Tungsten video is great. Made me happy. I upgraded my order to the V2, hoping to get it next month. Yes. Yes. Send photos. Send photos of your stuff. I got a photo somewhere. Here, do this. Send it to there, directorsgarage, gmail.com. When you get like the new headphones, I want to see them, guys. I want to see them. So send them in to me, because I'm really super excited about it when you guys get something new and want to show it off. And I'll show the photos here just like I'm about to with Neil in a few minutes. I think Zeos had one, but not public. Perhaps I'm wrong. I don't pay Zeos, but I remember seeing him saying something about it. No, I don't know. I don't follow Zeos. Zeos was at the show, though. He's walking around, had a bunch of guys around him. And guys, when you have 150,000 subscribers, you get to have guys around you. I'm by myself. I'm just shaking hands. You know what, though? I got to tell you something. And I want to say this publicly, because I put this at the end of my comment on when I posted on HeadFi. There was a kid who was really, he was I'm guessing he was about 13, 14 years old, maybe a little younger. And he was just loved headphones. And he came in, and he came into the Raw area where I was kind of hanging out. And he knew me, he knew my show, and I was more than happy to take a picture with him. You know, kids are just great. But he had an HE-1000 unveiled with him that his dad had bought him. And he was so proud of this headphone. He was so excited, and he's like, this is the best headphone you can buy. It is and he just was convinced. And he goes, here, I'm going to show it to you. And he pulls out and he goes, now you want to see the cable that goes with it? He pulled out a separate ballistic case that he had for just the cable. Like, you know, I don't have anything out right now. Well, it would be like, you know, like this, like if you just the cable, and he had his own case for it. He was so like and it was a nice cable. It was like a red and black cable. I joked with him that it's kind of the Spider-Man look. It was kind of fun, but he was so into it and so enthused. I'm like, we need more people. We need more kids like this. He was just into it, just into all the tech of it and just loving it. And he's like, these are really good, but my HE-1000 unveiled, man. I couldn't get more supportive of a human if I tried. It just warmed my heart. The kid was just amazing. And I didn't get I wish I had his name, because I would gladly say it here, but I just thought he was great, and it was so exciting to see a young kid that enthused about our hobby and like that into it. And I'm like, there'll be another generation of this, you know, like this audiophile thing is going to carry on. But it was so cool to see people. The people were the best part of CanJam by far. I mean, I go there to shake hands, meet people, see old friends, make new friends. And I tell people all the time, like, the most important thing you can do at CanJam is talk to the people around you. Strangers. Go up to strangers and say, what'd you hear you like today? Just ask them. You'll be amazed what you hear, and they'll direct you to something that you never even considered listening to, and you're going to have you'll have a great experience. Or you'll say, oh, I didn't really like that, but I appreciated that guy really said they were great, so I wanted to hear them. Just talk to people when you're at these things, when you're at these meets and stuff. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy. Just go up to somebody and say, what'd you hear you like? What impressed you today? And they'll tell you something, and then you go and try and hear it. And more conversations like that. I just strike up conversations with people. It's so fun. It's so fun. Anyway, perhaps his mind played tricks and wouldn't be the first about the Zeos thing. Yeah, I don't know. I can't watch Zeos because of the head cam thing. It just I just want to shoot my screen. I appreciate everybody who loves him and wants to watch his videos. I can't abide by that first-person perspective. It's just vertigo-inducing and bad television from my classically trained aesthetic. But he's got 18 times the viewers I do, so cheers, Zeos. We love you, buddy. I wish him nothing but the best, by the way. Wish anybody in this hobby, any of the reviewers or whatever, there will never be a rivalry started by me. I don't care. I want everybody to do well. I think rising tide raises all boats. Zeos had a V1 double-sided he never released. It was a fun video. Oh, Tuesdays? Yeah, it was a good time. I try to put my own spin on things, guys. I try to keep it lively and keep it entertaining. I did introduce some new graphics. I'm doing more with less, in a sense. And so you'll notice that like the top graphic and the Director's Garage store graphic were changed significantly. These are things that I've been working on and trying to enhance with our show. Probably do some slate work in the near future to add some movement in those in some way. I don't know yet. But I'm still, I'm always tweaking the formula a little bit. But I love having fun, and I love, pointing out that, maybe we shouldn't take this all that seriously. It's important to us because we love music and we love headphones, and we spend a lot of money and time on them, but we also have to remember that this isn't curing cancer. This isn't solving the hunger problem. This isn't feeding anybody other than the people who manufacture them, I guess. It feeds their families. But we gotta have some fun with it. Gotta keep some levity in it. And that's what I try and do. And share my own experience as I walk through it and not get too technical and bogged down in stuff that I think is boring for the purposes of a viewer. I never knew it was live. I was waiting for a screen for 10 minutes. We're live, buddy. We do this. We use live ammunition around here. Oh, I shouldn't say that in this environment. We play for keeps around here. Okay. I think the V2 designation was justified and fair. It seems like only minor evolution from the previous version. I think that's fair to say. Ryan wanted to be upfront and transparent about it. Yeah, absolutely. And cheers to that. I think that's great. And I know people who have revised stuff and not said anything. I don't think there's enough. I think he could have probably done the revisions and started doing them in the different way. And I don't think anybody would have said anything. But he wanted to be upfront about it. And I always salute people being transparent. I'll tell you something I'm doing. One of the things that came out of CanJam was Zach Merbach introduced me to a Qobuz rep who's going to get me a free Qobuz account for my show. We're in the process of applying and getting that worked out, but I'll be perfectly honest. If I'm getting a free Qobuz account, I'm going to tell you guys that I got a free Qobuz account because of this show. And I won't lie about it. But that said, I'm also going to tell you that I'm using Qobuz now when I'm listening. And and I've been Tidal for a very long time. Switchover hasn't come yet. And but I probably will be if they follow through and give me this free account. That's $120 a month that I am spending right now that I don't have to spend, or $120 a year that I don't have to be spending money on. And when I'm unemployed, I'm like, I'm going to take it and say thank you. So that's something like I'll be perfectly transparent about any of that stuff. I also a couple people have reached out recently from Asia. I've had some Asian folks want to send me some headphones to review. And I was upfront with them. I said, I will turn these around relatively fast and get them onto their next owner. And I will tell you right now, some people tell me because it's so expensive to ship, they want to keep them here. And I promise you, I will give them away. I will not keep your headphones. And they're like, really? I'm like, I don't want to sell them because I don't think that's being fair and genuine. So I'm not going to sell them. But I will. Anything I get in that's free, I give away. If I pay for it or pay partial for it, some people do give me discounts. I've had some discounts on stuff. Ray's given me a discount on the amp. That wasn't very generous of him. Still have to pay him the back end of that. As soon as I get the Carbon 2 or the Abyss sold, or the Stacks, I'll probably sell that off too. I don't care. I just got to sell something major so that I can pay Ray the rest of his money as soon as something sells. Had somebody bitch about how I take care of headphones too. In the comments, did you see that? The way he holds headphones, you could scratch them so easily. And I'm like, they're headphones, guys. They're going to get scratched. Doesn't matter how I hold them. That's why I don't have an unveiled here, because I need to move things around. I need to be able to hold things up to you guys and show you them. And I need to not care if they get a little micro scratch on the front. I don't care. And if you don't want that, then God, don't buy my shit. For sure, because it's going to have it's used products. However, I don't listen to everything now that much, so they have low hours on them. So you might have a little surface scratchy or two. These EMS in pretty good shape considering they're a couple years old now. Anyway, yeah, that was another comment I got this week. I had a lot of comments. A lot of people had stuff to say to me. Go ahead, take your vest. I'll debate you. Feedback, he's not sure if he posted something privately, but it's possible. Oh, you mean, are you talking about Zeos, I guess? I don't know. Whatever. Almost like running a change other manufacturers would have just kept quiet about. Right, silent revision. Right, okay, that's what we're talking about. Okay, we're there. Anyone in line can choose the V1 or the V2, but he thinks the V2 is a better product, and most people are choosing the V2. I think that I like the cups for sure. I just was a little more enamored with the bass on the newer, but I think that newer model is going to, I think it's going to work itself into the sound of the old OG over time. It's just hard to say. And it's easier to drive. Yeah, 20% by far. That's the biggest change. Like the sound stuff, I was just kind of like trying to discern stuff, and that's kind of the opinion I walked away from it with. The big change, the thing that is by far the big headline is 20% easier to drive. Like easily 20% easier to drive. was every time I went to plug them in, I had to remember I would jar myself with too loud or too soft a signal because I was on the other one. That was undeniable. Wonder what the overall feedback is on bass performance from V1 to V2. And again, I think that bass performance is going to change the more you break them in. That's my opinion. I don't have data on that, but that's what I had to guess. He would have stopped by to try out a Tungsten in CanJam London had he seen one. They're as rare over here as rocking horse poop. It's rocking horse. If a rocking horse poops, never mind. That's a great one. Binary feedback. I'm giving you comment of the day, my friend. Cheers. What can I get? Can I give this a thumb up? Can I pin the message? I'm going to pin the message. It's pinned to the top. Hey, that's a cool tool. We're going to do that every week. I'm going to pin the #1 comment of the day. Rocking horse poop over here. I love that. My opinion is that the V1 has more mid-bass emphasis while the B2 has more sub-bass emphasis. Okay. That's fair enough. As per Michael's comment, the tension on the V2 is higher than on the V1. But again, I think as you play that out, I think it does. It would seem to me logical that it will ease a little bit. It can't hold tension forever. Something's got to give. You know, it's got to loosen up a little over time, just from mechanically. It does sound kind of like the 4Z to the 4 by most accounts that aren't splitting. Less drive. Well, the 4Z. I got to say this. The 4Z lacks the soul of the 4. The V2 Tungsten still has the soul of the V1 Tungsten. There's a fundamental miss on the 4Z to the 4. And Audeze knows this. And that's why I think they're going to give us a new version of that 4 of some kind this year. I do believe that's the flagship they were referring to when we talked to them in the Hangover Hangout. Those many months ago. Another reason to join the Hangover Hangout, by the way, guys, because you get info from these manufacturers about what's coming or what could be coming, you know. Ryan, it seems like the majority of people would rather choose sub-bass emphasis over mid-bass, but it would be dependent upon listening library. Yeah, I just think there's a little more slammy quality to the OG. But again, I just think that it will get better the longer you listen to it. Personal opinion. Alnick is not as well known in the Western markets as Eastern. He heard one at CanJam 15 years ago, back when CanJams were put on by enthusiasts versus vendor exhibitors, and he will never forget it. I thought it sounded fantastic. I thought it was great. HE-600 sounded good too. That's the Ori. Yes, we were talking about the Ori as I was showing. This is now going back through my comments as we were doing the photo slide, the slideshow. Curious if you got a chance to try the headphone D1. I did not. Is that new or is that the one that came out last year? Do they have a new product for this year? I didn't hear about it if it was. And it could be just me not paying attention. Entirely possible. Matthew Hilty says, I know this might be blasphemy, but I really like the Noble Rex 5 and bought a set of CanJam. Why is that blasphemy? I think the Rex 5 was wonderful. I support that totally. I'm a big fan. That would be the one, like, I mean, these are still working, so I'm less, I don't have a need to upgrade. I will conk these out at some point with my sweat, I'm convinced. But the Rex 5 is one that I want, and you know, I would love. If I had unlimited money, I would have bought one of the ribbons. I think I really miss those headphones. I'm telling you right now, that was painful to say goodbye to. I did not want to let those go. But it is what it is. Just got to go with what you got sometimes. And $10,000 headphone will cost me half of my stuff in divorce court. I know my audience. I know where I place. Yeah, sorry, buddy. $10,000 headphone is not in the cards at this point in time. He's a little behind. Sorry, he couldn't get over the mid-bass hump of the Valkyria. I liked the Valkyria. I liked it. I thought it was okay. It definitely has bass prominence. They're a bassy headphone. But the biggest issue for me is price. I mean, they're so expensive. I mean, $13,000 for a dynamic driver headphone. Come on. I'm like, whoa. But that said, they sound good. They sound good. This is how you cover CanJam, folks. Yeah, I'm showing off all my photos. Aren't Austrian audios a splinter from the old AKG? Yes, they are. Yeah, they are. Yeah, we've talked about that. I'll see myself out. Binary feedback, don't worry about it, man. It's all good. It's all good. John Massari is a master at tuning headphones. Yeah, he's going to be on the show on Saturday. I'm going to be sending out, later today, I'll be sending out the invites to that, to all of you Patreonables. That kid knows his stuff. I have the HE-1000 and unveiled and arguably the best headphone from 5,000 down he's ever heard. Great bang for the buck. I wouldn't argue with that. I wouldn't argue with that. That's a fair assessment. Fair and accurate. But just to see a young kid like that, and I just thought he was great. I just thought it was great to see a kid that enthused. Just warmed my heart. It was just unbelievable. And to see him pull out a full case just for his cable. Yes. I know Zeos has his fans and does his own thing, but I literally never learned anything about audio gear for a headphone from him. He just rambles nonsense. I don't know. I was interested in what he has to say. I just can't. The head. I get nauseous. It just gives me nauseous. I think Koba sounds great. I'm going to know. I'm going to find out in the future. Maybe I'll do a shootout. No, maybe I won't. If they're giving me something for free, I don't want to say anything bad about their service. No, that's just not saying anything at all. I'll let you know. But that's going to be at least a small little money saver. That's just going to save a bunch, save some money for me. And boy, production, I'm losing so much money on this show. I gave you the anecdote, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. It's like I did a show, uploaded it, the audio was messed up. By the way, the audio, you'll notice on the last show, was 100 times improved over the audio of the previous show. I straightened out the plug-in problem for a cost of $300, and I think I made $28 last month. It's like, these are imbalances, folks. This show loses money. Agreed about the HE-1000 unveiled. Rigo. Cheers, Rigo. Missed you, buddy. Rigo was at the show last year, and I drove him to the airport. It was so fun to get to hang out with Rigo. I hope he gets to come back. Agree about the HE-1000 unveiled best sounding headphone for the money in today's market. Yeah, I wouldn't fight that. I wouldn't fight that. Just need to make them in black. Black with the silver driver exposed might be kind of cool, actually. That's a way to go. Fantastic. Righteous Bucks. All right, let's take a look at Neil's system. This is Neil Snyder. By the way, if you have a system to send in, please. How do we do this again? We just do this. Yeah, directorsgarage@gmail.com. Directorsgarage@gmail.com. And if you are interested in this shirt with its small little headphone logo, I didn't sell shit at the show, even though I had a little setup with my hats. And I had 10% off on this stuff I was offering for the show. Any patrons of the show. And I had my mug. It's just like, all I need is this hat and this mug. And this tumbler with... it's all I need. Sorry, that's the scene from The Jerk. Me reenacting Steve Martin. Badly, I might add. But if you're interested in this shirt, you go to directorsgarage.com and you can get hats, shirts, t-shirts, all of that with this. It even has my classic Directors Garage logo that's on the monitor back there. Get a shirt like that, whatever you want. It's all good. It all works. There you go. Okay, so let's take a look at Neil's. This is Neil's new listening rig. So for those unfamiliar with Neil, he's got a kind of a hearing imbalance thing that he's got to always compensate for. So he needs balance control, extreme balance control. He also needs a lot of bright, likes brighter sounding stuff. And so he has a really nice listening rig, like regular listening rig. And then he's got a listening setup for his television's area. This is for the television area. So this is the lower end stuff, as it were. And he sent this to me today, so I have to look up and make sure I get all these things right. So we're looking at, that's an Aria Unveiled. And then this new box on top is a Fang Sound Ariadne. And it's an amp. It's 20 watt per channel amp. And then he's got a topping DAC below it. And then off to the side here, which will show up in another photo. Oh, so this is the close-up. This is the, up top here is the Fang Sound with high gain and it's a 20 watt per channel amp. And then he's got the topping, and then looks like a DVD player or something below that or whatever. Oh, here's his balance control. This is the balance box. So he can control his left and right. You can see he's got a major hearing difference between the two ears. And I know a lot of people who have. Somebody was telling me a story that their dad or whatever was a hunter. And so his hearing was off because he would always shoot like this. So this ear picked up the rapport, and he had hearing loss in that ear. So that's one of the reasons. But I don't think Neil's that big a hunter. He's a hunter for bargains. That's what he's looking for. Give me a deal. But that's a pretty cool system. That's a pretty cool system right there. And congrats, Neil. I love it. I love seeing your guys' rigs, man. Send them to me. Because send me... Oops, that's the wrong one. Send them to me because I think it's just great when we get to show off what you guys are into. I think it's so cool. It's so cool. Oh, gotta get rid of that. And this is nice stuff. This is. It's nice to see a this is just a manufacturer I haven't heard of, Fang Sound. I mean, how cool is that, right? Just different manufacturers. I mean, topping, yeah, they're everywhere, but it's neat to see him do Fang Sound, I think. Anyway. So that's our viewer system for the week. Again, please send us photos when you get something new in. We'd like to check them out. Rigo, we got to talk about future. We got to get something going here, I think, soon for the Director's Garage. A blind what's in the boxes needs to be. We have to start figuring that out because I think we're about maybe 2 episodes away from needing some product. So get Audio 46 back in the mix here. I know I had taken some time off to deal with the house and whatever, and we may have another gap in shows coming as soon as this house sells. We are back on the market this week. We've taken it off for a week. We're back on at a slightly lower price, and we're with a new realtor. We're trying a different realtor. After 90 days, we just decided to go in a different direction. It wasn't something we wanted to do, but it was something that we felt we needed to do to try and get things moving here. But and that's no disparagement against anybody. I just am we're kind of getting into that nervous area where hey guys, we got to start hoping for a sale here sometime soon. Got to turn the air on in here. My goodness, oh geez, yeah, we do need to turn the air on in here. Goodness. Yeah, it's getting kind of warm. Oh boy, we had rain today too, by the way, in LA, which is very rare. Kind of interesting. Ryan says Fang Sound is good. Yeah, I haven't heard it. And they had some stuff, I think, on the floor at CanJam. Just didn't have... I try to make it over to as many things as I can. And honestly, like, I wasn't as interested in hearing stuff as I was talking to people this time. I kind of interesting. I really did enjoy getting to shake hands with folks and meet new people and make some new relationships. And, you know, I had a good half-hour discussion with Zach from ZMF, just catching up. You know, we don't get a chance to talk all the time. I see him on the live stream sometime, but it's just kind of fun to catch up with people and have some time to really connect, and find out, you know, what they're going through and, you know, what's exciting them and how does the next quarter look for them, or what do they have anything they're excited about that's coming out soon. These are all good things to have discussions about among people that I consider friends, you know. And then I made new friends too. That was really cool. Some friends, a couple folks from out of the country. That's going to be kind of interesting to see if we can find a way to kind of collab or do something together down the road when we're going to have an obvious language barrier between us. It's kind of fun. We'll see what happens there. But all in all, I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed CanJam this year. I was hoping to sell some more stuff. That's Mom. I'm going to get off the air here, guys. Hoping to get some more stuff in for review. We have. I am nowhere near, by the way, another episode coming out. I have not even started the next episode. I've shot it, but I have not started laying it out. So we're a good couple of weeks of live streams away from, and that'll be. If it goes the way I think it's going to go, because I'm not going to do a CanJam episode this year, because I just did it. I'm going to do the full review of the RAL next. That's kind of the plan. I could shift that up if somebody comes in with something new, but I think that's going to be the one we're going to go for. But it's going to be a really big episode. I'm talking like well over half an hour. It could even get closer to an hour than under. But I have a lot to say about that headphone. Kind of interesting. Anyway, so fellas, let's wrap it up for today because I'm running out of things to talk about and I'm getting punchy. An hour and a half limit. Director's stamina falling down on the job. I've been walking a lot though, and I've lost a lot of weight, fellas. I'm kind of feeling good about myself as we go into the next phase of whatever it is. I'm also going to be, next week, if we do a live stream, it will have to be Friday. And we may not have a live stream because I actually do have employment next week. It's only for the week, but it's a good job. It's a good gig. I'll be shooting out of state. I'll be shooting in Hawaii next week. So it's a real honest to goodness paying gig that will pay me some money and help support this household as we try to sell it. And I'm very appreciative to the folks who did it. So I'm going to be who's lined this up and asked me to come along and direct for them. So I'll be heading off to Hawaii next week during the week, and I won't be here to do a live stream. Certainly not on Wednesday. Maybe something on Friday if there's going to be anything at all. But this Saturday will be the Hangover Hangout, and I would love to see the more people we get into those Hangover Hangouts, the better they are, the more fun they are. I've already got my album recommendation. Everybody brings album recommendations every single Hangover Hangout. I've already got mine. I'm excited to share it with you guys. Ooh, it's going to be good. All right. I'll see you guys before you know it. Let's get out of here. Let's run some outro music. I gotta go clean up the yard. It's always something to do. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for stopping by today. I seriously appreciate it. Always like hearing from people. And thanks for writing all the comments. Man, we had a busy chat session. It was fun. Awesome. See you guys. I gotta find out how the hell do I get off the air.
Come with me on this ride. Here we go. What's that time?